Hi, this is Dr. Scott Young, and we're doing the NESARA shorts. This one here, we're going to kind of group it together. It's the stocks, 401k, the annuities, the IRAs. Hey guys, I would love to tell you the specifics of your XYZ annuity. Don't ask me and I mean, I can't, I'm not a stockbroker. I don't play one on TV. I can't give you that answer. I get people emailing me this kind of stuff. I mean, I can't give you that answer. 60% of these stockbrokers and these people are hooked into the systems. Why? Because that's all they have ever known. It's their licensure. It's what they've lived on. They've lived they've lived and died in this thing. They don't see anything but the banking systems. They work for banks, okay? And the banks work for the Fed. They can't see anything. It's like they're Clydesdales. They can't see anything but what the Fed is going to tell them. And the AIs, artificial intelligence, is manipulating the markets. I'm talking to several people who are talking about the direct manipulations every day. And when you look at the manipulations, I mean, it doesn't even make any sense. When you listen to the articles are like AI written. I mean, one day you'll see the article and they'll tell you like this fear happened and it dropped by 400 points or whatever. And then, oh, well, and then the next day, literally one day later, it goes up by 500 points. And they're talking about the exact same issue, but it was buoyed by something or other. And it's the exact same opposite issue. And you're going, how can it be? They were fearful and now they're not. And so they bought it back. And so it's buyback issues. So an AI is buying and selling. And that's how they do this kind of stuff. Guys, you're being manipulated every day to do what they're telling you to do. And you think it's these people, actually making decisions. No, they're not making decisions. They're being told you're in a grouping and we're just like it's a big Titanic and they're slowly moving this particular direction. And the reality is that if you looked over your money in 2018 to 2019, your money was moving up. It was being manipulated then. 2019 to 2020, you saw it drop down dramatically because we had a big fearful event with the pandemic. And then we had 2020 to 2021. Now we had a growth factor because the elites were trying to take over and do their little thing, okay, and their fake little thing. Now, when we went from 2021 to 2022, we had another level of drop. And see, that's the big drop issue. And that's when I believe that Trump and the executive orders were taking back from them. So what they were doing is taking from the market, but then Trump and the White Hats were actually taking back from them and putting what I believe is in the St. Germain Fund, which is part of the debt forgiveness issues. And see, some people come to me and go, well, I'm worried about my money. What happens? Well, first off, number one, your money in the market is going to be 1-to-1. So, your money in the market, you have maybe 16 different, 5 different, whatever, in your funds. You have 5 different funds. They're all in US dollars, but they're in different fund points, right? And in those funds, they're all in US dollars, but they're in different fund points. And they're going to flip all to US note. No, it's going to flip to US note, but it's still going to look the same exact whatever XXY, whatever the point is, or ZZY, whatever the particular stock symbol number is. Okay. So we're not talking about a different stock symbol of that or how they actually would codify that particular thing. What we're talking about is that's flipping into the quantum financial system. Okay. So it's talking about going from the US dollar to the US Treasury note, or the US note first, and then later on it'll be called the US Treasury note. So you're going to be covered in that way. But, but this is the one time in history that you for sure know of a drop. Now, I just talked to a guy and he was talking about moving a tranche of money. That's a big tranche of money for him. And he was asking, like, well, should I move it into this life annuity plan? And I'm like, dude, and he's kind of forced retiring, right? And I'm like, okay, so he's been with this company for 30 years and forced retiring, so he kind of remembers 1987, and he kind of remembers 2008. And I'm going to give you my story, just one story, okay? In 2008 to 2009, I remember having in the beginning of 2009, I had a bank IRA, and I will tell you the exact amount. So I had 150,000 with my wife and I. We had our monies in this particular account, right? Or accounts for our IRAs. I could say that one 3,000 times fast. So we moved it in with a stockbroker company that we were kind of coming back to in the Tulsa area. And so his name is Philip, and he's a nice guy. And Philip comes in, and they come in with us, and they go, yeah, we're moving it in with them. It was like, I think it was in January of 2009. And we know the markets are crazy, but I really wasn't paying attention to them. Um, and I'm still learning about financial time at that time frame, right? Okay, so by what is it, June of '09, the stock market hits the worst it is, and my money is at 75,000. So it goes from 150 to 75,000, and I mean, he's like ashen when he meets with me. And now later on it builds it back, and I start putting money back into it, and he remembers it at the time. Now, only a couple years ago I moved all my money into gold, and then I moved more of it all the way out into a money market, and they fired me after 14 years of being with them. They fired me. And the reality is, and they're like, and they're talking to me like I'm an idiot, and they're talking to me like I'm Mr. Fearmonger, fearful kind of guy, and I'm like going, the markets are dying, and this is back in 2021. In 2022, the markets dropped by 30%. No one wants to pay any attention that they dropped by 30%. Bud Light, I mean, the Budweiser companies have dropped by billions and billions of dollars. This ESG stuff are just ridiculous drops. When the EBS hits, this is the biggest fear issue in the history of the world. Bigger than any fear event that we've almost ever had. What do you think is going to happen when a fear event hits the markets? Pause for a second. Push pause on this and just think for a second, and you'll go, the markets are going to fall. And that's exactly what happens. Well, some people predict that it falls and cracks, and never recovers. And the answer is that's not true. I would say that I think Trump comes back in. I mean, there's a friend of mine, Mark C, if you know him. I mean, he and I both believe that the markets will drop maybe 20-30%. At some point, there will be a stop point in there. No, there's a lot of people that talk that there are stop gaps pulled in at 7%. They stop, they close the markets. This happened in 9/11 timeframes. But what happens is there are stop points in each of the markets. What I believe that will happen is at 20-30%, they stop it, and they might hold it over and move it into new type of vehicle and say, hey, listen, all the black rock and Vanguard, which are all the sicko elitist stuff, we'll push those into penny stocks, but you'll be in some other type of vehicle. Again, I don't know that. But don't you want to have the option to get your butt out of all that stuff? Don't you want to be in gold and silver or do something else? Hey, listen, I don't actually make any money off of this. I've never asked for any money from you. I don't make anything. I don't do anything with gold and silver. I don't like invest with you. I don't get anything from you. So listen, I'm not gonna make any money off of this. But don't you want to have the opportunity to do it? Every other time frame in the history of the world, the elites made money when those market freak out points happened. And you have the opportunity to kind of go, you know what? I'm going to at least put my money in this thing called money market. What that is a holding account. It's a cash account. You just hold it in there and you just go, it's all it is just a cash account. You just hold it over, and basically what it is a holding account, and they move it over, and they just if they're setting up a new account, if they're flipping to a new account, they just hold it in there, and then they move it over into this other thing. You always have a cash account. They just do it all the time. So you have that opportunity to do this, guys. Now, we also know that there's annuities and people don't have any control over that. And so, I mean, I know that Trump is going to have some type of way of having some protection, but everyone's got to feel a little bit of the pain. Everyone is going to feel pain in this. You can't get the elite out of here without feeling some level of pain. I'm sorry, there's no way of just making it painless because this is a war and everyone feels the pain, and we've all been feeling pain already. So, guess what? It is a pain point. I don't know how much of a pain comes in here. I wish I could tell you about it, but you have an opportunity at least to have a little pain in there, as little pain as possible. If you have the opportunity, at least move it to gold and silver or some other type of vehicle that is just a cash kind of basis and hold yourself over. Do something to find a way to get yourself into at least a calm position. But the reality is just be calm. Trump's not over there freaking out. If he's not freaking out and he's an economic genius, why are you? So I know I did a little bit longer one, but I'm trying to answer the questions. Do not ask me questions about every little thing that you're wanting to freak out about because I will not have answers for you. Okay? Like and subscribe. I would really appreciate that. Thank you so much.